It's funny. I had a meeting earlier today, and because we're a software company, one of these snazzy things that we work on is the customer journey, right? Like I hate the buzzwords; they infuriate me. And the idea is like, okay, what are we going to do about our customer onboarding to get everybody to these success milestones a little bit quicker? And some of the people that were working on this um, at the company were like asking me questions and probing me on it, and I realized that you know all of you guys really fall into three buckets. You fall into one of three buckets, right? At the very top is the universal truth that every single solitary one of you have a marketing problem. You're not marketing consistently. You never have marketed consistently. None of you want to market. You all have a marketing problem. Doesn't matter if you've not sold anything. With a small disclaimer there that I'll get into in a second. It doesn't matter if you're above the $10,000 mark. It doesn't matter if you're trying to hit the $1 million mark. Every one of you has a marketing problem. It's not going away. It is the cross to bear of creatives in today's day and age attempting to sell and monetize their creations. But after that, you fall into three buckets, okay? One out of three buckets. Bucket number one: you've never sold your art or photography to people not named mom, dad, brother, sister, friends, okay? These people are your friends and family. They love you. They will lay down in oncoming traffic for you, okay? Of course, they've bought your art. Now, this problem is an art validation problem. You have to sell what you're creating to strangers to understand whether or not you have the product the market wants. Once you've established that you have a product the market wants, then you can have a marketing problem like all the rest of us. That's bucket number one. Bucket number two is you sold your art to strangers. And it can be anything from $1,000 worth or $100,000 worth over the last 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years. And maybe you're doing galleries, maybe you're doing this, maybe you're doing the other. But you've never marketed. You don't have anybody on an email list at all. You haven't kept an email list. You've not kept up with a collector list. You don't have a social media profile. You don't post regularly on Facebook. And so you essentially have a marketing problem, yes, but your biggest problem is lead generation, right? We need to start generating some folks that know you, that like your work, that start following you, start interacting with you, start coming to your live shows, all of those things. And then the third bucket are people that have some experience marketing. Active Facebook, active social, an email list. They have a collector list. They know who these people are. They've kept in touch with them. And sort of the idea of the exercise earlier this morning, we're like, because we have a marketing agency in house, and that thing's only a year old. Okay, it's not moving mountains yet, but we're hacking at it really, really hard. And so I sat there and I'm designing these various different services internally at Art Storefronts that we're going to do for each of the three problems, right? And it's really interesting. It's really interesting. But I know conclusively that all three of you, every single solitary person in here is in one of those three buckets. Period. Full stop. Right. And there's solutions for each of you. Um, all of them require marketing and work. The two hardest are buckets one and two without question, because you essentially have a 0 to 1 problem. You have to go from 0 miles an hour to 1 mile an hour, or 0 miles an hour to 100 miles an hour, right? Which is not so easy. The easiest is bucket three because you have some momentum. But it's all solvable, and it's all about where you focus your time, energy, and effort. And man, is that just such a profundity, right? And I would also say too, and I say this line all the time, and it's like, you know, um, the English have this saying, if I'm honest, right? If I'm honest, like, you had a bad game, if I'm honest. I hate that saying, because what does that mean? The rest of the time you're not honest? Like, if I'm honest. Are you not honest the rest of the time? You should be honest all the time. So my version of that English saying is, don't take this as a sales pitch, right? And it's true. You don't have to sign up with Art Storefronts, but you need to understand which of those three buckets you're in. You need to understand that whole entire art business pyramid that I showed is the only road forward where you stand a chance of making it. I'm sorry, the gallery model or thinking that you're going to make it on a marketplace, that is not a path to a career that is going to bring anything resembling income. I'm sorry, it's just not. The odds of it working out for you, and I mean selling through galleries or selling through marketplaces where you don't have to do the marketing yourself and you're going to make it, or finding somebody that's going to do all the marketing and business and sales for you and thinking you're going to have a business down the line that's continuing to grow or is really profitable, that's playing the lotto. The sheer number of people that I know that are successful, that are selling through galleries exclusively and not doing any marketing, or just uploading their stuff to any of the marketplace sites, Saatchi, Fine Art America, Etsy, Redbubble, I don't know of any. I honestly don't know of any. There's a couple here or there that pop in that say they're doing decent, and it's like, oh yeah, I'm doing great on such and such. And I look at the sales they have on Etsy, and it's like they've sold 1,000 pieces. Well, that's awesome. You sold 1,000 pieces. You are in the top 1%, but that is still not anything resembling a yearly income you can feed your family and put a roof above your head on. So my contention is that if you want to make it in this business, that pyramid for an artist or a photographer right now is the only way. And I'm talking about specifically the sales that are coming directly from your art business, right? If you're a photographer and you've got a service-based component, that doesn't count. I'm talking about just the fine art window of the business. And I honestly believe in today's day and age, the only way you can make it, the only way that the business grows year after year after year is getting that pyramid correct and working on your marketing. And yes, I know none of you want to work on your marketing. Trust me, I get it. But the good news about this business is that 80% of you guys have full-time jobs because you're not making it as full-time artists right now. Very, very few are. And so you have the income that you can invest in this business. And again, do not take that as a sales pitch, right? Like that the idea is that if you get on that path, okay, where you're marketing consistently, you're capturing emails all year long, you're emailing the emails, you're running sales when it's appropriate, you're having live art shows, you're taking care of your collectors and treating them like they're staying at the Four Seasons, all of the things that I ranted about, and you stay at it consistently, which no one does, right? Absolutely no one does. And let's just talk about this time of year. Every artist, every photographer approaches their marketing like the good old New Year's resolution, right? The New Year's resolution is I'm going to go to the gym 3 days a week. Week 1 of January, week 2 of January, week 3 of January, week 4 of January, maybe you're doing 3 days a week, right? Things start getting a little cold in February, you're down to 2 days a week. Next thing you know, you look at March if you made it that far and you're going once a month, right? That is how traditionally year after year after year after year after year, every artist or photographer approaches their marketing because no one's given you the proper perspective of how long it takes to build this business, right? It is not about going at it. I'm going to make this year my year. I'm going to work at it for 3 months and we'll see where I'm at, right? You're not making it in 3 months. No one makes it in 3 months, right? You need years and years of doing it consistently. But when you get that mindset locked into your head and you understand that those are the rules to this particular game that you guys have chosen as a vocation and as a passion, you're in a great place. You're in a great place because you realize the first couple of years suck. The first couple of years, you have to learn how to do all these marketing things that you don't want to do. I know you hate them, but there is a rule, there is a maxim in this business that whatever you want to do the least is probably the highest ROI thing. ROI being return on investment. Your time, your energy, your treasure, your talent. So those are the facts. Those remain the facts. And I'm continuing to learn them more and more and more. So again, I think you have to get all that stuff right. You really, really have to get that stuff right. And once you do, and you come to terms with the fact that you're going to have a rough couple of years of grinding, the business will actually start growing. And I'm not talking about growing like you're going to go buy a brand new Mercedes. Okay, you're going to be flying on a jet. Maybe the first year you do $6,000 or $8,000 or $10,000 or $12,000. And then the next year you're like 30, 40, 50, right? And then the next year, because it gets harder and harder to double the business every year, maybe you're at 70 or 80, right? But if you don't have other sources of income or a supportive spouse, you're 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 years away from it really humming as a business and providing you income, solid income. That's just the truth. It's just the truth. And are there unicorns that come in that don't comply with any of those rules and knock it out of the park year one? Yes, but it's not the norm. It's not the norm. And yet everyone runs around and tells artists and photographers those are the rules and that's how it works. And earlier in my career, I wanted to believe that. And now that I've been doing this for as long as I have, and we've onboarded as many customers as we've seen, and I've gotten deeper and deeper and deeper into this industry in every capacity imaginable, studying what's going on outside of our industry, studying all my customers' numbers, I know it's the truth. I know it's the truth. And I know anytime somebody points out someone else that's doing so awesome, that once I break down that business and look at it, it is complete bullshit, right? That person is making $100,000 a year, selling art, doing fantastic through galleries. No, they're not, because they're doing a 50-50 split with the gallery. They're not getting paid on time. Once the 50-50 split is over, the 50-50 split does not account to their studio rent. It does not account to the materials that they have that they put in there. It does not account to whatever art school debt or whatever else that they have, right? And it's like, that's not a business. That's not a business that's growing every year, and you don't even know who's buying your work. So how can you sell to them again? You can't. So I find these to be the rules. I find the existing models, mental models, growth models. You have to be in a gallery. You need to be in a marketplace. These are the things that are important to be complete BS. It is an utter tenant-farmer relationship. You might make a couple of bucks here or there, but once it ends, you're going to leave with a shirt on your back and nothing else. So you have to get this pyramid right, you guys. You have to get it right, and you have to work consistently on your marketing, and I know you don't want to. I know you don't want to. No one wants to. But if you do it, the business grows. Enough of my ranting. Going to go into the Q&A. If you're one of the brave ones with the cameras on, what's up, Ben, Patricia, Serge? Good to see you again. I would never forget that name, Serge Shakiri. I think is it Shir? Hold on. I like trying to get the names right. I don't know. You're gonna have to tell me what the last one is. Well, I'll contemplate it on it. But you're due a question anyway. If you're one of the ones with the cameras on, I can see when you raise your hand. For everyone else, at the bottom of this little Zoom window, somewhere around here, I got to figure out how I can get like a little pointer on it. There's this smiley face that says reactions on it. And then it allows you to raise your hands digitally. You can see I've done it and Ben's done it. That lets me know you have a question, lets me unmute you, bring you on. If you're one of the ones watching on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter, I see your comments too. So I can get into all of those. If you don't want to turn your camera on, you don't have to turn your camera on. Okay, I hate being on video. I have to do it. It's a job. You don't. You could be multitasking at work too and sneaking it in. So don't feel like you have to turn your camera on if you don't want to. And then also, you can throw the questions in the chat, and I usually deal with all the live questions, and then I'll go and get all the ones in the chat, and we roll along and see how we go from there. Ben, you are up first today. Go ahead, Ben.
Okay. Nice to see you again.
Ditto.
With Nate, maybe?
Yeah. Nate's great.
So here's the question I have. So I actually do have a marketing background. I own a video production company.
Yep, I remember.
This is kind of what we do. So he sent out, he said a number that was kind of shocking to me. And I asked him, what kind of an email list do you need to have real success? He originally said 1,500 people, and then he said 1,000. 1,000 warm leads is an extraordinary number, as you know. Even 500 warm leads.
Do you mean extraordinary as in hard to get?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, what I'm selling is not, we're selling video production packages that start at 10K. So these are more complicated things than somebody, for instance, emotionally connecting with a photo and saying, I need to own that. How can you give me, and I don't expect you to give me all the trade craft, of course, because that's why we sign up and give you guys the money, but can you give me some indication of how we're going to grow an email list? And I'm at 0 because sending out fine art to our production company clients is going to be very confusing. That's not really the people I'm going to be going after.
Well, I'll check you on that, but yes, finish the question, then I'll tell you exactly.
But even that list is relatively small. We are mostly word of mouth.
For sure.
In fact, I'm working on marketing all of this week. So can you give me some guideposts on how you guys can help us grow an email list that big? Because that is a robust number. For
sure. He's not necessarily wrong with the number. You asked him a pointed question, so he had to give you a pointed response. I would say there's this internet guy early on, and his name's Kevin Kelly, and he wrote this essay that everyone cites called 1,000 True Fans, right? And his sort of thesis was that you can build a $100,000 a year business on 100 true fans, 1,000 true fans, right? Yeah. There's no magic number, right? Because not all fans, not all email leads are considered equal, right? There's people that have 10,000 people on their email list, and they don't do as well as that have 250 on their email list, right?
Sure.
So I see that April, nice work on the Google game. I'm just laughing because April threw the 1,000 True Fans by Kevin Kelly in the thing. No different than a balanced diet, right? Like you have to eat your vegetables. You can't eat too much meat. You need to eat some fish occasionally. Alternate the proteins. Eat all the various different colors of the rainbow in terms of vegetables and fruits. Right? Like it's very much the approach to email capture. And so you want to leverage everything that you have available to you in offline fashion. And some people do shows and fairs. Some people's art is hanging in a doctor's office. Some people's art is hanging in a restaurant. Whatever you have at your disposal there, you combine that with all the various different digital ways of doing it, right? One of the primary ways early on that we get you going is through a system of print giveaways, okay? And so you incentivize people to enter to win the free print. They give you the email to enter the free print. At the end of it, so-and-so won, congratulations. For everyone else, here's 20% off store-wide for the next 48 hours. Use coupon code I never win anything, right? So we do a bunch of creative ways like that. Obviously, we're having you drive traffic to your website in a bunch of different ways. And so you have email capture on your website in a bunch of different creative ways. You're running live art shows and you're capturing emails. You're doing it through hand-to-hand combat, via Facebook comments, via Instagram comments. Great. Can I get you on my email list? Again, the live shows and fairs is a fantastic way to do it. Same concept, fishbowl at the show or a clipboard at the show and a free print to win and have offer and just put your email in the box. And once you have that all working, once you get over a certain sale margin, then you start in on what are called warm ads on Facebook and Instagram. Warm ads on Facebook and Instagram are ads to people that have already interacted with your brand, people that are on your email list, people that have visited your website, people that have liked, commented, and shared on posts that you have on Instagram and Facebook. Once you get on a balanced plan on that, $5 a day, every day, all year long, don't ever turn it off. $10 a day, every day, don't ever turn it off. What you'll find is that these people really like you, and they start sharing your posts, and more traffic comes back to the website. And everything that you're doing from a marketing initiative, you're running live art shows, you're marketing consistently, all of it starts building. But I'll tell you straight up, in the beginning, it sucks. Emails are built one email at a time. It's a grind. It's not fun. It's a pain in the butt. Are you going to build?
No, I'm literally doing it right now for my production company. And it is building an efficient funnel and actually getting engagement with people.
Yeah.
And we do give things away. It's, it's very difficult.
Yeah. You got to send me the link. You got to send me the link to your video production company. I'd love to take a look, and I can give you some strategic ideas. If you sign up, maybe we'll do like a trade or something. You make me some art storefront. You make me some art storefront videos, and I'll give you some trade craft. But you got to do the basics, right? And it's not so different for your production company that it is, for your art business, right? Like you have a product, that's somewhat artistic. It's a little bit more service based on your other one. You have the various different social media sites where everyone hangs out. You need to start producing amazing content for that. You need to start driving people back to your website. You need to be capturing the emails. It's all just the basic marketing muscles. And, you would be really surprised what you can do with the print giveaways and have that little shot in the arm. You'd be surprised what you can do once your website is optimized. You could be surprised what you can do once the language and your various different social posts encourages people to get on the list for this, that, and the other. And what happens with the live art shows. And then all of it is just about momentum and consistency, right? And going back to what I said earlier, everyone was like, how am I going to do it? How am I going to do it? How am I going to do it? And then you get all these posts. I never thought I could do this, but I just ended the year and I have 2,200 people on my email list, right? Sometimes it surprises me even because, art is in the eye of the beholder. Some people's art I think is terrible. Okay, I don't care. I will say that. I could say that. It's not for me. It's different strokes for different folks. But I'm like, you know what? Good on them because they got there. But, stressing about it is not how you get there. Like, we can help you. You have to work the plan. You can see that I'm not sugarcoating it. You're going to have to grind like crazy. But if you're willing to do it, you'll get there. And then, the benefit for you is all of the marketing stuff will teach you. You'll start bolting into your day job.
Actually, that is, in speaking with my partner, I was like, I don't know.
Oh, dude, trust me. Ben, trust me. You're going to learn so many tricks, and you'll honestly, the day you learn it, you're going to go do it twice. I mean, the fact that you're not doing regular streaming with your video capabilities, okay, and regular live broadcasts, do you realize how many of them I do a week? Do you have any idea? Have you seen? No, 3. You kidding me? 3. That's weak. If you count the internal ones, I'm doing about 10, and I can't stream the internal ones, but dude, cell phone, ear pods, connected to Instagram, software, use Restream, use StreamYard. They're kind of like the streaming services, kind of like golf clubs. You know, you got to have a pitching wedge, you got to have a 9-iron, you got to have the 1-wood, right, for the various different shots. Show your video content. Get a green screen that pulls down from the ground. Get a couple of key lights. Get a mic, probably all of which you have 10 times more advanced than anyone else does, right? Hook the SLR up with the 50 millimeter fixed glass. It just looks sublime. And you've got a full-blown broadcast studio going on. And then all of a sudden, start showing your art in the meantime, right? Like, oh, by the way, we did this shot. And, you know, first of all, I'd probably have a way bigger one. A bad example. It's not a photograph. I'll just deal with it. And, you know, I was at this grove and I just thought it would look so wonderful in fall. So I ended up doing a location shoot of it. This is an acrylic print, by the way. It's like, do you know how many opportunities you have to do that? You're not doing that right now. Why not? Right? Like OBS is free open source broadcast software, and I can move myself here and I can move myself here and I can do a screen share behind me, right? And like I can do all of that in 2 seconds. My whole entire equipment stack is like $1,500. We are killing it with this. What the heck are you doing? You are better than this at anybody. You know?
Yeah, well, I'm spending my time servicing our clients, of course. And
it's important.
Very
Make your partner do that part.
And do you think, so 8 hours a week is really what is required to do?
I don't even want you thinking that way. I don't even want you thinking that way. Pick your hour. I don't even care if it's 30 minutes. But I need 30 minutes every single solitary week, 52 weeks, without even looking at your stats. Do it, right? And you'll once you get into that mode, you realize like, oh, I see, right? And everybody always quits right about the point when it starts getting tough and it starts getting hard. And if you would have just pushed a little bit while longer, you would have got there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. That was, yeah. That's what I wanted to hear.
Appreciate it, man. I appreciate the little urban jungalo you have going in there too. You got one in the foreground, one in the background. I dig it. I dig it. If I pulled my green screen up, I could show you my indoor playing game. So, all right. Thanks, man. Okay, next up it's going to be Patricia, and then it's going to go Tori, and then it's going to Serge, which means I've got Serge. I've got a few minutes to try and figure out the pronunciation of his name, which I'm going to do. Patricia, you're up next. Gotcha.
Now can you hear me?
Yeah, gotcha.
Okay, very good. Nothing, just ready to go. I'm ready to start.
Okay.
So I'm very impressed with everything you've said. I know it's all true.
Yeah, it is all true because I don't sugarcoat it and it doesn't exactly sound easy, does it?
I don't care about that.
Yeah.
That doesn't bother me.
Good.
Now, let's see what I say in a year.
Yep.
But yeah, this makes a lot of sense and it's really hardcore and I like that.
Yeah. Do you know what I didn't talk about that's also like so important?
No,
you know, when you say like let's see where I'm at in a year. The difference that I'm finding, like you know that saying like to a hammer everything looks like a nail. So
yeah.
I'm a marketing guy, right? And what do I spout out about the entire time is the marketing problems. And I'm not wrong. Those are the biggest problems. But I realize if my goal is to get you guys marketing, and I know if I get you marketing, the business will actually grow. I thought I could solve that by just teaching you how to market. And what I didn't realize is the equation, okay? And again, this all goes back to your year question. The equation to solve the marketing conundrum is 50% marketing education and 50% a support umbrella. I should be doing this. Support umbrella. And the support umbrella is, yes, the way that you're thinking about it, technical support. You get hung up on this, you get hung up on that. You can talk to somebody that gets you unstuck, but I don't mean that primarily. It's a part of it, but it's not the primary. It's having community, okay? It's having a bunch of people that are struggling, that are pulling their hair out of their head, that are having wins, that are having losses, that are going through the journey with you, okay? And then it's the poking and prodding, right? And holding you accountable, right? You need that. Every artist needs that because you guys are all solopreneurs. You don't have teams. You don't have staff, right? You have your significant other or you know, your mother or a family member that's helping you. But occasionally you need a combination of carrot and stick, right? And you get signed up and, you know, we're having a big sale and I don't see any social media posts and someone catches it and I call you out in front of 200 people and I go, Tricia, what the hell's going on here? Valentine's Day sale is right now. I don't see any social posts on your site. What's going on, right? That combination of community and carrot and stick and accountability and all these people like on the same journey as you is just as important as the marketing education.
Well, one thing I have done is I've built a very large community online.
Wonderful.
about 5,000 people who are interested in the same things that I build my art around.
Is it a Facebook
Now,
group or what is it?
yeah, it's a group of people who are following me on Facebook,
Got it.
and many of them are Middle Eastern dancers, and my work uses Middle Eastern dance,
Awesome.
and that's a huge audience.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to figure out a way, with your help, to take those people who are already interested, already energetic,
Mm-hmm.
and start using them as the kind of audience, the kind of whatever you think that could be possibly turned into.
Yep, I can give you some
But
insights on that.
that's one of the assets I'm bringing to it.
Okay.
And the other is that my work is very easily understood. And so I think that's something that I'm using as a marketing advantage. But we'll see. I don't want to. I'm here to learn.
Okay, wonderful. I would request a demo if you haven't already. If you haven't, we can do it for you and have somebody call you. But have you done that already? Have you already seen the demo and gone through the whole thing?
No, I have not.
Okay.
That's what I want to do next.
Yep, we'll have somebody reach out and contact you. I could tell you to go fill out a form, but you're on here, and so April will just put your name on a list and we'll have somebody call you.
Thanks, April.
Yeah.
That sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks, Patricia. Okay, next up is Tori, and I see the questions in the chat. James and others, don't worry, I'll answer those. Go ahead, Tori.
Hi.
Hi.
So I have two questions. My first, and ignore there's construction happening in my apartment.
I'm just enjoying the whole color coordinated headband, whatever's on top turtleneck operation you got going on there. Snazzy, Tori.
So my first thing is, in essence, do I have to brand myself in order to be able to like have an online presence that then transfers over into customers? Because I think that's something that feels, I don't know, strange to me. Like I have my regular Instagram account where I have like 3,000 followers. That's where I post like pictures of my outfits and, you know, this and that. And then I have an art Instagram account that has like 200 followers where I just post my stuff. Yeah. You know, so part of me definitely thinks that it's the move to kind of just turn my regular Instagram into where I sell stuff. And, you know, then people get more of an idea of me as well. But at the same time, like that gives me more anxiety as far as, you know, a lot of my art is of like nude women and stuff like that. So it creates a whole like perception idea of men versus women seeing it, you know, and women see it as this like empowered thing, whereas men will see it as like, oh, is that what you look like naked? It's like, oh. Yeah. So it makes me feel kind of, I think I end up halting myself from really like going to the next step because of that kind of, I guess, disparity in the way my art can be perceived and the type of customers I want. Because honestly, I don't really want the men who think that way to have my art on their walls.
Yeah, you're overthinking it.
Okay.
Let's break it down. I want to make 3 points. One, how old are you? Because I'm curious.
I'm 24.
Oh, it makes me so happy. The fact that you're here in your 20s and you're learning these lessons early on, right when you're getting your art career started, honestly, is like one of the most inspiring things that happens on these calls. Because I know if you get the business model right and you're not going to be obsessed with galleries and you're going to start marketing and you're going to do so consistently and you're going to keep a collector list, when you're 40, 50, 60, you're going to have a massive business. And so, you know, not everyone on this call is your age. There's not that many people that come in on their 20s because they haven't figured it out or they don't know, like, you know, for whatever reason, we don't attract a ton of them in terms of advertising. So number one, I'm very happy to see you here. Okay. I want you to consume a bunch of our content. It will help you. And I want you thinking the right way right out of the gates how to build this business because my gosh, you're so young. You have your whole life to do this. That's number one. Number two, there's no right answer between the one account or two accounts. Okay. Now, generally speaking, I would say it's better. You don't have children yet, likely, but it's easier to watch one child than it is two. Okay. And it's easier to watch one dog and walk one dog than it is two. Like, despite everyone telling you, oh, it's easier with two dogs. Nonsense. That's two bags of poop that you have to pick up every single solitary time. Right. So it's easier to have the one account. Okay. So we have to just plant that out there. That being said, I know that those are all your friends from all these various different walks of life, and maybe they don't want to see your art all the time, right? So you kind of have to balance those two things. In a perfect world, in a macro, I would say I think you can combine the two and make it awesome. I think it'll be fun. I don't think you need to worry about the fact that right now you're doing naked ladies. Trust me, the guys are not gonna mind. You might get some sleazeball ones here or there, but just ban them immediately. So I could give you an example of a couple of sites that I think do, or a couple of artists that I think do a really good job of blending the personal with the artwork and having it be awesome for everybody. That to me is the biggest win, because despite the fact to make it in this business, you have to sell art that are to people that are not named mom, dad, brother, sister, family, friends. Mom, dad, brother, sister, family, friends will share your art with everyone, right? And the only way that they're going to know that you're making it is if you're showing it to them regularly on the socials. So that would be the way that I would like for you to go. And again, huge disclaimer, just given the subject material, like, if you're getting creepy comments or creepy DMs, ban the hell out of that person immediately.
Yeah, I just block
yeah,
people.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess though, once you have a business set up where people are just ordering online, you don't really have, you kind of just have to release that control, I guess, of like who has your art. But I do still feel that protectiveness of it, I guess.
Yeah, but not enough not to be making it. You're making it, right?
Yeah.
So like, everyone's got their individual cross to bear in their business. So that's how I would approach it. And one of the nonsense things they teach out there and that everyone says is that you need to have a brand, right? You need to have a brand. The brand is so important. And normally where this comes up, and I think the people that are delivering this advice are doing so from a good place, okay? But you have to qualify it with they're doing so from a good place, and that good place is a place where they've never sold any art or photography in their life, right? They're taking it from other businesses. And so I bring that up to say, okay, Tori, and her velvet jacket and her little color coordinated brown headband turtleneck is just as much a part of the brand is what you're creating. Okay. And the two examples that I'll send you, and April, will you put Matthew Laka and put Meg Knappenberger's Instagram account? I want you to follow both of these. Yep. I don't want you to just click on follow them. Okay. And see the balance that they strike between the two. But everybody wants to be bonded to the artist. They want to know what makes the artist tick, who they are, what they're interested in, where they spend their time, right? And you can always adjust how personal you go with that, right? Like if you have kids, not showing your kids, right? If you live in a certain place, not showing your house, right? Like whatever the case may be. But don't underestimate the fact that you're a part of the brand. That'll never not be a thing, right? So your art is the part of the brand, and you are part of the brand, and you just mix that up into the beautiful recipe that is you, okay? Just do you, and you get on with it. And I think that's the most effective way that it happens. And in many cases, like, you don't know what your brand is early on. You have some ideas of what your brand might be, but you haven't gotten it in front of enough people. And so no one has any damn idea what you're doing, right? And so I'm going to just show Meg's. Meg does a really good job. And it's like, look, she's got 11,000 followers, okay? She's just getting started. It's not like she kills it. But she does a good combination of like, here's my family, here's my art, right? Why is my internet running so slow today? I pray for the gnarliest connection in the history of mankind, but sometimes, I know, Instagram is just buggy in here. Anyway, I want you to follow her. She's been selling pretty hard recently, so it's pretty art heavy, but she definitely does like a ton of fun personality stuff and does a good mix, and so does Matthew. So follow those two for some insight on how to do it, and then make your own call. That's number one. Number two, don't worry about brand in the slightest. You just need to start selling and see what happens, right?
Okay. And then I have one more question, which is, for me as a 24-year-old, yes, and with the friends that I have and the community online that I've built, it's mostly younger people who don't have huge financial means. Mm-hmm. And so I'm kind of faced at like this cross section of either I want to create.
Don't worry about that. Don't worry about
yeah,
that. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that.
Okay.
What you need to do.
They don't have the money. I would love to be making upwards of $1,000 for a single piece.
And you can't. That's why you have to sell prints.
Okay.
You can't just sell originals. You have to sell prints. Like this is
so
one of the.
I haven't sold any of my originals.
It's okay. That's okay. We got to get past that. Mom, dad, brother, sister, family, friend. Prints can certainly help. Like one of the things that is really, really important, and one of the things that we haven't up till now, I've talked about it a bunch, but we haven't like actively audited our customers that are just signing up, and it's something that we're going to start doing now. You have to have price points for everybody. And where's my doggone pen? My children are constantly stealing my pens. I'm going to use my nail clippers. No, I'm going to use chapstick. Everyone's followers, every single solitary person on this call, everyone's followers fall into a socioeconomic bell curve. Down on one side of the bell curve are the lower income folks. A bunch of your friends fall into this bucket. They're just out of college. They're in debt. They just have their first job. They're living in their mother's basement. Okay, they're on the low end of the socioeconomic bell curve. Then we have lower income folks, like lower middle class, upper class, high net worth individuals. That is everybody's. It's really hard to do this in reverse. That is everybody's followers on this call. Art storefronts, everyone's. Once you have the right perspective that you're going to be an artist for the rest of your life doing this, okay, you don't worry about that bell curve, because that bell curve is not a fixed quantity. People are moving up and down it at all times. You right now in this moment in time have a large concentration that are in the lower end of the bracket, but that doesn't matter. You're just getting started. You haven't even really started marketing. So step one is that we have to have prices for all of those folks, right? Which is why we advise our artists sell merchandise. It's why we advise our artists have open editions. Open editions, not just open editions on paper, inexpensive, but open editions on paper, open editions on canvas, open editions on metal, all the way up to limited editions, all the way up to originals. Then what you find is you start to have price points for everybody on the socioeconomic bell curve, okay? And that goes for the low end as much as it does for the high end too. Meaning I want you to take one of your pieces, which is ever your favorite one, and I want you to set the price at $5,000. I don't care if no one ever buys it. It makes everything else in the store feel valuable. So you need to do that. Your friends will like, comment, and share. They know people that will purchase your art. It's just where you are in this season of life. You don't worry about it. You start in on your marketing and you get on with it. But you need to do a local show in your neighborhood, wherever you are. Or you grab your phone, you go live on Instagram, okay, and you say, I'm kicking off my art business. Hey, guys, it's me, Tori. I'm kicking off my art business, okay? Everything I have in inventory must go. Hold them up. Talk about them. Talk about your inspiration. Put that one down. Hold up the next one. Talk about them. Talk about your inspiration. Put them down. Quote prices. Quote prices, okay? Give it a range. Would say, guys, I'm totally negotiable. And then say, I take Venmo. I take PayPal. I take checks. As long as I know you. Right? And take Bitcoin, Ethereum, if you're so inclined. But, you know, start out that way and see if you can sell some of the work. And you'd be surprised. Like, what's going to end up happening is some of those friends that don't have any money were at lunch a week ago, and their aunt, their uncle just got a vacation house, and the walls are all bare, and the aunt and the uncle's like, oh, I've got to go furniture shopping for the next 2 weeks and outfit this place. Boom. You got to see my friend Tori. You know, she's a great up-and-coming artist. She's got these pieces. This is how it happens when you start taking active steps in your marketing. Now, one of the things I'm going to send you in the show notes, I already have it in the show notes, because I like giving these types of things away. Where is it? Where is it? I'm going to send you How to Run Live Art Shows, a quick start guide, okay? This will walk you through all the ins and outs of how this process works. I give you all the why in here, and then if you get down to the bottom, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? See, all these people in here are in their 30s and 40s and 50s. Not you. You're in your 20s, which means you have a ton of time to work at this and practice. This is literally the guide. All you have to do is click on a button to get it. I walk you through every step. The equipment you need, by the way, you already have it. It's a cell phone, inventory and pricing, how to get paid, where to stream the show, the actual show, how to announce the show, what to do after, bonus content, some bonus content, and they still have questions. What does this thing even work? I don't even know if anyone's ever clicked on that. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Anyway, it's there. I'm going to send that to you. I want you to follow it. I want you to run a live art show, and then I want you to email it to me so I can look at it. And if you don't, I'm going to sick April on you. Do you see how good she is in the chat finding these things? She will find you, track you down, and harass you. Right? When are you going to run the show, Tori? This weekend. This weekend is fine. Next weekend.
Yeah.
Next weekend. I like it. Let's do this. Send me the link after.
Okay. And one good thing is, so I just moved to Chicago a few months ago, and I connected with a DJ who runs events, and I do live painting at his events every 2 weeks. So I've been getting a lot more following of people who are like purely following me for my art because of that.
Wonderful. So that's how it starts. That's how it starts.
Thank you.
Follow our content. Subscribe to the podcast too. Honestly, I want to indoctrinate you.
And sorry.
Now.
Can you repeat, please, the people you said to follow on Instagram?
Yep.
Meg something.
It's in the chat. Just scroll up in the chat and click on those two and follow. Okay.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay. Thanks, Rick. All right. I'm gonna nail the name now. I'm gonna have to take it. So I think it's Serge, and I'm gonna say Tricky.
You're close.
Oh,
Hey,
come
Patrick.
on.
You're close.
What is it?
Surge in English, Serge in French. Yes.
Serge in
Shrieky.
Shrieky. Got it. Got it.
You watch much TV?
Fair amount. No, not really, actually. But I'm
Entourage?
Entourage, yes.
Okay. Look the name up, Entourage, and then we can talk about it.
Game
Superman and Lois?
Yeah.
Look up the name, and we can talk about it. Anyway.
I love it. Do you live in LA then?
Nope. I live in St. Catharines, Ontario.
Nice.
Patrick, I joined up with you guys.
Yeah, welcome aboard. How long ago?
Thursday, January 13th, as a matter of fact. I can tell you that my site is live.
Good for you.
I've gone through the audit process.
Okay.
A couple of things yet to go.
Okay.
There's some technical issues that I have yet to figure out.
Okay.
I've got a call in for Friday, so we'll deal with that.
Yeah, good.
My question for you for today.
You got to go. You got to skip all the announcing your new site and everything, and I want you to go right into the Valentine's Day playbook.
Right.
Straight up.
Understood. So, when COVID hit,
yeah,
I became somewhat of a recluse, and what I mean by that is, we were stuck. We didn't have anything to do, and I thought, well, I want to work on this project, which was re-editing my work.
Okay.
I started this entire venture back in 2004.
Okay.
And I was fascinated with black and white photography, did well with my black and white photography. Skip over 15 years or so. Well, that kind of fizzled away because I moved out of the country and then I came back and I didn't have a market anymore, all that stuff. Fine.
Yep.
I was on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. And those things still exist.
Okay.
The old work is there. Doesn't look like the new work. It's the same work, but now it's color, properly edited.
Okay.
Whereas before it was black and white. Am I confusing people by
No, you don't know.
keeping all that old stuff, or just
no
keep going?
It's too early. You won't know. You won't know until you've given it a shot for a while, right? Like there's no playbook either, because I've seen everything under the sun. I've seen people put up a whole bunch of different styles and sell equally a whole bunch of different styles. I've seen people put up a whole bunch of different styles, and then all of a sudden 80% of their revenue's coming from 20% of their work. When that happens, we have to do the come to Jesus and say, look, the market's told you 80% of your revenue is coming from 20% of this work. Get that other crap out of there. Go 100% in on the 20%, and we'll see where it goes. But you can't make that call until you've done some consistent marketing and you have enough traffic to know. And you'll never know until you know, right? And no one can tell you. No one can give you an audit or say, ooh, this stuff looks awesome. The only thing they can tell you is this coming out of somebody's pocket, right, or purse, and going down on the line. So that's it.
Right. So maintain the status quo and just keep.
Yep. Start
use
marketing.
The same account. Keep going. Keep doing the same things.
100%.
All right. Okay.
Game on. And welcome aboard. And you don't have to wait on these, by the way. We have internal ones for you.
What's that? Sorry.
So there's office hours on Tuesday, which is like customers only Zoom. There's Thursday one, and then you probably have an onboarding one. So point being, there's easier ways to get questions. This one's supposed to be for non-customers, but I kept looking. I was like, wow, he's popped up on this one quite a few times. But yeah.
Well, actually, it's actually only my second time, but I do just trying to glean some information from other questions. But I'm committed. I'm in. We're going, and we'll take it as it goes, as it were. Okay. Well, thank you.
Love it
for the presentation.
And
right.
So do you speak French and English then?
I do.
Yeah. So I've done a ton of stuff with well, you're in Ontario, not in Quebec.
Correct.
Because Ontario is mostly English speaking.
That is correct.
Yeah. I'll introduce you to Matthew. He's a great dude. Like, you'd love him. And I showed some of his videos earlier on. And so he's in Quebec. He's French speaking, English second. And he leverages it in interesting ways and definitely has some French followers and some English followers. It's a pain in the butt working on his stuff to have to do 2 emails every single solitary time, but there are times when it's worthwhile to do so. and you might have some interesting conversations with him about how to approach the two markets, because it really is two markets. I mean, I know Canada's one country, but I feel like, you know, that Quebec could separate and the French speakers could separate at any point in time from the motherland, right?
Yep.
So it's an awesome thing to have, that you've got that bilingual going on, and I always like contemplating exploiting it, let alone if you crack anything open in the actual French market. So something to talk about down the line. Not to worry about right now,
Good.
though. Okay.
Right.
Welcome aboard, brother.
Thank you.
And now April's totally Googling you, and we'll come back with this Surge's movie day data. Miriam, you're up next. Love that name, Miriam. It's my mom's name.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Hi.
We all call her Mimi. I mean, I don't call her Mimi. I call her Mom, right? But everyone calls her. She's always been Mimi, and her mom was Miriam too, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Is your mother Jewish?
No, she's not Jewish. She's Catholic, and I think. Yeah,
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that's cool.
her mom was Catholic too. Yeah.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you so much for doing this. And I've been sort of like reading emails that I've gotten from you over the past year, and I've never really, participated in anything. But
thank you for not unsubscribing, given how many doggone emails we've sent you over the last year. It's a sickness. I need help. Miriam. I need to go into email rehab. It's terrible. It's too many.
Okay, well, I'll help you.
Yes.
We can do a trade.
Yeah.
So, I'm really excited to say that this past year has been a really successful experience for me.
Awesome.
As a painter.
Mm-hmm.
I just had a pop-up art show in Philadelphia, and I sold like 75% of the show.
Amazing.
Okay.
Amazing.
It was really amazing.
And because it was a pop-up and you did the sales, you kept 100% of that revenue, and you know who purchased.
I did have to pay for this, but but everything you're saying, right,
mm-hmm.
Patrick, is, I'm like with you. I'm like in the game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm playing. I don't have a website,
mm-hmm.
but I don't want to just throw one together. I have some crappy thing I put together with a friend. It's not crappy, but it has Santana music, and it's kind of hokey.
Love Santana, though. You can't go wrong with Santana. I mean, who doesn't love Santana? Yeah.
I'm a little I think to myself, I don't know if I'd be embarrassed showing you, or
yeah.
In a way, it is what it is, but
yes.
It has some beautiful work.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not. You can't buy things really. It's not.
Yeah, it's just a portfolio site. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So, but that isn't that. The thing is, that kind of got me out, being public, being known. Mm-hmm. I now have, and so then last summer, I want to say also, I kind of stumbled upon this gallery that my old boss owns. The next thing you know, I'm managing it. Next thing you know, I'm putting together group shows.
Mm-hmm.
I have a solo show, and my solo show ended up being really successful. And I had my work it's a very it's called Provincetown, Massachusetts. So it's very touristy, right?
Okay.
And I sold all these paintings, and I had to give him half, but I walked away with about $20,000 for myself.
Okay.
Not bad. And then I made about 30 in the Philadelphia pop-up show that I put in my pocket. So, I mean,
amazing difference those two, aren't they?
Say what?
Amazing difference those two, aren't they? The 50-50 split is just it's got to die. It's got to end. I like it. Right, I like it that you have a revenue source that's working, right? And especially if you can produce a massive amount of work, but I don't like you not knowing who those people are, because how do you know? They could be collectors. You could be selling to those people for the rest of your art painting life, Miriam.
No, I have everybody's email address. That's number one.
Mm-hmm.
However, so this year, he's offering me that I can rent the gallery myself
mm-hmm.
for not a lot. It's a pretty good amount of
mm-hmm.
money. I mean, it's decent, for 6 months, for $14,000, I can rent it for 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at okay, how else can I supplement this so that I'm not just pouring all the money that I'm making into the rent, so I have this idea where I have other artists renting for a week, $1,000 a week,
mm-hmm.
and they get to have a show.
Yeah.
Do you so that's one thing. So yeah. I noticed though that
I like the idea, but guess what? That idea has a marketing problem.
What?
How are you going to find all those artists, right?
Right. I have one so far.
Yeah, one
and
so
you
far.
know what? A lot of them are not interested that I know.
Yeah. Yeah. I do like the idea though, generally speaking, because, I can teach you how to get a ton more ROI out of it. Right. And not only do you have the
Okay.
gallery, you start running live art shows inside the gallery. Right. And then
Right.
you get set up to run the live art shows, which is probably just going to be buying a new internet connection and doing the process. And then you tell the other artists, not only will I help you do this, I'll help you run a live art show in the gallery. Right. Like, I think if I wasn't working this job, I would go and buy an art gallery. And I live in Newport Beach, California, and one city south of me is Laguna Beach, which is like art capital USA of Orange County. And I would probably rent a gallery, and I'd rent one of the ones that's going out of business, and I'd keep all their furniture and beautiful sculptures and the whole lighting setup and everything else, and I would wire the entire thing for internet, and I would put little tracks down for the camera cart, and I would just charge artists to come in and hang up their work and then run a live show for them, run a live show for them, because it's so insanely effective. So you could do that too, which is good.
Well, this is a major, major tourist city.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, it has the volume.
Is it on the is it on the Cape, or is it seaside, or what is it?
It's the end of the Cape. It's
End of the Cape.
Provincetown, Mass.
Got it.
Which was historically it's an artist colony. I mean, listen, it's a hot artist place. It always has been historically. It has art schools there. It's called Provincetown, Massachusetts.
Yeah. Yeah. I would call the guy back and say, like, look, I'll do it for $700 a month instead of $1,000 a month. Or is it a lot?
I already negotiated. He wanted more.
Okay.
I'm okay with what and I already have an artist. She's signed up. She's giving me $2,000. I mean, I have.
Yeah. So you're on
cooking.
it. You're on it.
Yeah. But this is sort of a psychological thing. I start to think, like, what are these artists, what assholes, they are, that they, excuse my language, but I start to think, give me that they are like, no, and I'm sort of like getting really frustrated. I start hating them. I start fighting with them. It's not professional. I feel like I don't know how to be professional.
I wouldn't worry about it. Just be you. And also don't let those guys get you down. Like, they're behaving that way because they're not in a good place.
I mean, I was working with this woman, and she's really good. And she said she sold this piece. She just did this with me the other day. And I said, okay. She goes, then she writes, but I'm unhappy with what I got. I said, well, what did you sell it for? I'd rather not say. Yeah. I said, that's the problem. Yeah. Like, you can't even talk about money.
Yeah. Yeah. It's most of them are not selling. Most of them are not happy with the fact that they're not selling. They love, and
they don't want to invest $1,000 a week to try to sell their work.
Yeah, they're not doing well. There's not, like, I've been doing this for a long time. When I talk to thousands and I see all their stats and I know, and it's like, there's very few that understand the way the world works, and the world is shifting, and they're sort of stuck in the in between, and they're not happy about it. And you have to do marketing.
Yeah, and if we're not willing to listen to people like you and really do what you say, like really be coachable,
yes,
we're not really going to get anywhere.
No, recalcitrant is not a path to success.
What? Say that again.
Recalcitrant means like resistant to change.
Recalcitrant, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you do provide we can talk about how you put together websites.
You need to sign up. You need to sign up. I'm going to have somebody contact you. You need to sign up. You're already the fact that you're selling that well tells me everything that I need to know. If you just tighten up the marketing aspect of it, it'll be a big deal. And then we'll also give you a bunch of tricks to get even more out of that gallery relationship that you're going to have for the summer.
Yeah, because the last thing I want to say, when you were talking about selling prints, I know all my work, it's all original, and a lot of it's watercolor, and it's really, people love it. They just
doesn't matter. You think you are smarter than your customers. You're not. I could prove you wrong so quickly it will make your head spin, Miriam. I promise you.
I'm not smarter than my customers.
No, stop thinking you are. It's arrogant. You're not smarter than your customers. You guys do this to yourselves so often. It's so damn self-defeating. Like, understand that social bell curve that I went through. There's a whole bunch of people that love your work, okay? All they want to do is own a piece of your work. but they're not ready to give you a couple $1,000s right now, but they are ready to give you a couple $100, and they are ready to give you a couple $100 right now today. And your work on a textured fine art paper will look fantastic. And they're going to go home with that print. And then because you're marketing consistently, 7 years from now, they are going to be ready for some watercolors. And who are they going to call? They're going to call Miriam, because she was smart enough to know if I sell them a $200 print today, that is like me bolting a Facebook ad onto the wall in their house for the rest of their life. Truth.
That's great. Thank you.
Yes.
I really got that loud and clear.
I know.
Okay.
I felt like because of the Miriam thing, I could raise my voice with you a little bit, so you have to apologize.
No, I can be really lazy, and that's what I'm really learning here. It's like, oh, I'm strong here, but I'm lazy over there, and it's time for me to be strong everywhere. Like open and try and go for it. I mean,
yes, self-sabotaging is another way of saying it.
Okay.
Yes, we are going to help you. Don't worry.
All right. Thank you. You are so cute. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Good talking. All right. Somebody else had their hand up, and I lowered it. I got trigger finger. Hold on, I'm going to find you. It's a nice little game of. Don't worry. I'll remember the name when I see it. You might need to raise your hand again. Actually, there's a lot of people in here right now. You had your hand up. Was it Diane? It was you, Diana. You're unmuted, Diana. You can pop on. Are you there, Diana? Maybe she lowered her hand, and maybe it wasn't me. I don't know. All right. Well, Diana, if you wanna come on, you can unmute. Microphone icon, bottom left hand corner is what gets it. What else? There was one in the chat too that I was going to answer. Hold on. Should we put pricing in our bio, highlights, or on posts? Yeah, Monique, I'm one that thinks you should list pricing. You don't necessarily need to put it in your bio or your highlights. You can on your highlights. You can definitely put it on posts. But by and large, people want to know what it costs, right? And I say this, okay, knowing how big of a hypocrite I am, because we don't have any costs on the Art Storefront's website. But for art, okay, this because we have a sales process and it works for us. For art, people want to know what the damn price is. They just do. Like, don't beat around the bush. Just tell me what it is. That the not quoting prices is like the nonsense that comes from like galleries. And that's because they don't ever want to let people know how hard they negotiated on things. And they don't ever want to let people know that from one artist, they sold a piece at 50 that they sold to another person for 30. That's why they never, ever talk about it. And by the way, if you want some excellent listening materials, I'm going to have to pull it up first. This is what I'm talking about. It's like, okay, I've been doing this for a while now, which is awesome. What is the name of the book? Freakonomics Podcast. Okay. And I'm going to get here, and you guys are going to check this out. And it's just freaking awesome. So they've got Freakonomics Radio, and it's by Dubner, who is one of the authors of this book. This book is awesome, by the way. You guys got to listen to this because it'll just really hammer home, okay, everything that I've been talking about. But there's a 3-part podcast that they did on the fine art market, and they interviewed all the top gallery guys, and they interviewed some of the top collectors and some of the top like art agents. What was the title on it? This is Your Brain and There Are Jobs. I gotta find it. Maybe you can just Google it on your own, or April, will you find it? Just Google Freakonomics Radio and then art. It should be in there. Maybe I could just do it. Art market. The art market is in massive disruption. Is that the one? Yeah. Is this part 1 of 3? This is part 3. So there's 3 of them. Kai, these were really, really good. But anyway, they go in there and they talk about how it's like one of the most, opaque industries in the world because people are just constantly hiding prices, obfuscating, lying, all the rest of it. All right, James, you have a longer question. I want to make sure I answer it correctly, so I'm going to unmute you. And he currently has a website he likes, but dislikes a provider because you can never speak to a human being. I know we all hate that, don't we? You can keep your current website. Oh, yeah, this is easy. Yes, of course you keep your current website address. The artist owns everything with us, absolutely everything. So yes, all you do, James, is you're just going to take, the DNS entry, or our staff will do it for you and point it to the Art Storefronts install, and then boom, done. And you unmuted, by the way, so you can ask a follow-up if you got one.
Yeah, I appreciate answering my question.
Yeah.
I just can't stand. I have a great I think I have a very good, nice website, but like I mentioned in my comment, I just can't stand the provider.
Yeah.
So you guys, I'm going to you guys because I spoke to several um, artists that have been on your site, your art storefronts for quite a while, a number of years. And I mean, they're doubling their money every year, and they just love it. And they said that your focus is on the artist, to make money for the artist, to get sales for the artist.
Yes.
So that's what every artist wants, is
Yes.
for people, to buy their paintings.
Yes.
So anyway, I'm switching, and I just wanted to hopefully get some help making the switch and making a seamless transaction.
It'll be totally seamless. It's really, really easy. It's basically when you sign up with us, right? You get a dot art storefronts site, right? So the way that it works, it'll be jamesgart.artstorefronts.com, right? And that's where you go on and you make all the changes and you do this and that, you get it all ready. Then you go into your hosting provider and you flip the switch. Done. It's done. Everything has been redirected. The site has been redirected. I don't know what's on your current website or if you have a bunch of traffic coming to it. There's some SEO implications, but the team will help you through all that. It's really easy to switch over. Did you request a demo already, or do I need to have somebody call you, James?
I talked to Stan.
Okay.
And I have a conference to answer all my questions on Thursday at 2:00.
Awesome.
So yeah.
Awesome.
So we'll proceed. One of the things I thought of is, coincidentally, my annual fee for this other website that I currently have is due tomorrow. I guess I'm just gonna, and it's automatic pay system. So I guess
for the entire year, I'm sure they get you too. Yeah, I know. I hate that.
I guess, and all these kind of transitions probably take a few weeks. So
yeah, but it's not. It's a drop in the bucket. The 2 weeks is not going to kill you, really. I mean, especially if it's like a couple $100. Don't pay it. What I would do though is, what is the current URL? Let's just take a look at it, because I'll just give you some quick advice here.
It's King, King, neon, NEON, fineart.com. One word, no space. KingNeonFineArt.com.
Okay. So what's helpful in these situations, and let me just show you this because this is just some tradecraft, right? Like, I don't know how much stuff you have on this site, how many different web pages it is. But you're going to want to get all this information down in case that one's really cool, in case you want to use it, and have it, you're going to want to have it, right? Because you're going to start building the new website and you're going to need all this stuff. Now, what is kind of a cool thing, like, let's just say, you're going to cancel it, right? And you're going to lose everything. There's this website called the Wayback Machine. And what this thing does is it essentially archives the entire internet. And Wayback Machine, did it go to it? I think I typed something wrong. That does not look right. Wayback Machine. I'm just going to show you this. This is always a helpful thing to see. Like, worst case scenario, let's just say you let it go completely and like off it goes, right? Let me see. So it looks like it's got a shot on you from December 8th, one snapshot. I feel like I need to donate to these guys. It's such an incredible service when it works. Come on. It's a little slow here. So this is a snapshot that it's taken of your entire website on, this one says April 20th, no. December 8th. And the pieces will eventually come loading in here, but it'll at least allow you to grab some of the text if it truly does disappear. It's loading so slow today. So anyway, you could do that, or you can just basically screenshot everything that's on here, right? Another easy way to do it, and there's full-page screenshots, or even just copy and paste it, but get all your content so you have it. You never know, you might need it. I'm assuming you don't have a ton of blog posts.
Use a lot of this on my art storefront site?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
And, I mean, even if you're gonna refresh it, I mean, it's sort of like when you move, it's a great time, it's a great opportunity to throw a bunch of stuff away.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I think being that you're moving websites, it could be a great time to throw stuff away. But yeah, you can use a ton of this stuff if you're so inclined. I mean, okay, yeah, you have like 1 or 2 blog posts. Okay, all good. Commissions just for fun. Yeah, I think try to grab all the stuff that you can. You can let the website go. It's not going to be the end of the world in the slightest. You just start rebuilding on the art storefront, so on you to be all good.
And what was that again? Way back machine?
Yeah, the Wayback Machine.
Wayback Machine.
And
so I could copy my whole website.
Yeah, well, what I would do is I would copy the entire website now while it's still live and not use the Wayback Machine. But the way, God forbid if it goes down and you didn't get it all, the Wayback Machine can be pretty helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to do that. That's great information. I very much thank you.
Yeah. And I would, by the way, don't just screenshot it now that I think about it. I would copy and paste it all, because then, you don't have to retype this stuff if you're going to use the exact same stuff. That's what I'd say.
Yeah.
Did I do a full screen share that time? That's interesting. I don't know why I did it that way.
Great.
Yep.
Thanks.
Yep. And welcome almost aboard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah, my pleasure. All right, guys, I think we're going to leave it there. I'm running out of gas, quite frankly. I'm going to email you the replay. Some people always ask me about that. Yes, I'll email you the replay. All the links will be in there. Definitely request a demo. If you haven't, there'll be links everywhere for that too. Then you get to see, the behind the scenes, all the bells and whistles and the marketing stuff and everything that we didn't talk about. We show you all that awesome stuff. So you got to do that today. And yeah, what else? I think that's it. I think we leave it there. Thanks, guys. Today was fun. I enjoyed that. Have a great rest of your weeks all, and hope to see you on the inside. Bye now.